She sold out a 61,000-seat stadium before she ever released a single song in English. She was named alongside Michael Jackson and Madonna as one of the most influential artists of her era, and most of America had no idea who she was until after she was gone. Here's what's wild. Selena didn't even grow up speaking Spanish. The language she sang in, the culture she represented, the genre she completely took over, none of it was handed to her. She had to learn it, earn it, fight for it, and then fight even harder to prove she belonged. She was 23 years old and standing on the edge of becoming the biggest crossover star the world had ever seen, when everything stopped. This is the story of Selena Quintanilla. Let's go back to the beginning. Abraham Quintanilla was a musician, not a famous one, a frustrated one. He had a band in the 60s called Los Dinos, and they had some regional buzz, but it never went anywhere. He got married, had kids, tried to leave the music world behind and run a restaurant in Lake Jackson, Texas. The restaurant failed. The family was broke. They lost their house. They packed everything into a car and moved to Corpus Christi. And that's when Abraham noticed something about his youngest daughter. Selena was 6 years old, and when she sang, even just messing around in the house, something was different. Her voice had this natural pull to it. He formed a family band and made his 9-year-old the lead singer. Selena, her brother, A.B. on bass and later production. Her sister, Suzette, on drums. Abraham managed, played bass sometimes, and controlled basically everything. And from that point on, Selena's childhood looked nothing like a normal kid's. She was eventually pulled out of school entirely to commit to the music full-time. She later got her GED, but the sacrifice was real. And here's the part that people never talk about. Selena didn't speak Spanish, not fluently, not naturally. She grew up in an English-speaking home, but the music Abraham wanted to make, the music that would actually sell in their community, Tejano, Spanish language music rooted in Mexican-American culture. So Selena had to learn her own heritage phonetically. Abraham would write out the lyrics, and she would learn how to pronounce it. She was singing her heart out in Spanish, connecting with audiences on a deep emotional level. The band played everywhere and anywhere that would have them. Tejano music in the 80s was a man's world. Selena was a teenage girl trying to break into a genre that had essentially decided she didn't belong there. And then, in 1987, something shifted. She won Female Vocalist of the Year at the Tejano Music Awards. She was 15 years old. And then she won it again the next year, and the year after that. She won that award 9 years in a row. The category basically became her personal trophy case. The industry started paying attention whether they wanted to or not. Ven Conmigo in 1990. Entre a mi mundo in 1992. That one produced her first #1 hit on the regional Mexican charts. And then in 1994, Amor Prohibido. That album was something else entirely. It got nominated for a Grammy. It showed crossover potential that nobody in the Tejano world had ever demonstrated before. Her fan base was exploding. She designed her own stage outfits, these bold, bedazzled, curve-celebrating pieces that were ahead of their time. She had a presence on stage that made you stop whatever you were doing. She was funny, she was warm. She opened boutiques, Selena, etc., in Corpus Christi and San Antonio. She was building a brand before that was even really a thing. And then came the Houston Astrodome. February 1995. Selena performs for 61,000 people, a record for that stadium at the time. To put that in perspective, that's a number most mainstream American pop stars at the time weren't hitting. And she did it singing Tejano music in Spanish to a crowd that was absolutely electric. And behind the scenes, the next chapter was already being written. Major English language labels had been circling for a while. She was in the studio recording her first English language album. She was about to become the first, the kind of first that changes what's possible for everyone who comes after. But there was a problem brewing, and it had been brewing for a while. Her name was Yolanda Saldivar. Yolanda had been a fan, a devoted, almost obsessive fan, who reached out to Abraham in the early 90s about starting an official Selena fan club. He said yes. Yolanda ran it with total dedication, and Selena appreciated that. She felt a connection with someone who genuinely cared. So, when Selena started her boutiques, she made Yolanda the manager. Abraham didn't love that decision. He had a feeling. Fathers sometimes do. He started noticing inconsistencies, money that didn't add up, financial records that didn't make sense. He brought it to Selena. He told her he thought Yolanda was stealing from her. Selena didn't want to believe it. She confronted Yolanda. Yolanda denied it. Selena, who had a deep loyalty to the people she let into her circle, kept giving her the benefit of the doubt. But the evidence kept mounting, and eventually, it couldn't be ignored. On March 31st, 1995, Selena drove to a Days Inn motel in Corpus Christi to meet Yolanda and get back some financial documents she needed. Documents that would show what had really been happening with the money. She walked into that room at 23 years old, on the edge of everything she had worked her entire life for. Yolanda shot her. Selena made it to the lobby, collapsed, and was pronounced dead at a local hospital at 1:05 in the afternoon. The city of Corpus Christi went silent. And then, the rest of the world found out. 3 days after her death, 600 guests, mostly family, attended her burial at Seaside Memorial Park in Corpus Christi, Texas. And then, the album came out. Dreaming of You, the partially completed English-language album mixed with some of her greatest Spanish hits, was released in July 1995. On its first day, it sold 175,000 copies. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. She was the first Latin artist in history to debut at #1 on that chart. She did it after she was gone. The 1997 movie about her life, with Jennifer Lopez playing Selena, introduced her to an even wider audience. A generation of kids who had never heard a Tejano song grew up knowing exactly who Selena was. Today, Selena rests at Seaside Memorial Park in Corpus Christi. Her grave is well maintained and regularly adorned with flowers left by fans who still make the trip to pay their respects. Not far from there stands a life-sized bronze statue of her along the Corpus Christi seawall. It's called the Mirador de la Flor, the overlook of the flower, a city honoring its queen permanently. And then, in December of 2025, Abraham Isaac Quintanilla Jr., Selena's father, her manager, and the man who built the foundation everything she accomplished was built on, passed away on December the 13th, 2025, at the age of 86 in Corpus Christi, Texas. In accordance with his wishes, no funeral service was held, and he was cremated. The cause of death was not publicly disclosed. Even after she was gone, he dedicated the rest of his life to preserving her memory. Selena never got to see how big she became, and she was just getting started. The tragedy isn't just that she died young, it's that the world was just about to meet her, and the world missed out. If you think stories like Selena's should be kept alive, subscribe to Remember at Evergreen Token.